Welcome to the Perspectives Podcast. I am here with the beautifully jacketed Sharon Pearson.
With your help, of course, Graham.
With my help, of course. We had so much fun that day.
You're looking particularly glamdelicious today.
Thank you so much. I don't think I've ever had that before, glamdelicious.
Yeah, well, I had to start shaking it up a little bit. We've done
I feel like we need a photo of the outfit. Do you want to stand up and do a spin?
Hang on. It takes a bit of coordination.
Looking amazing, Esme.
Thank you.
We have a wonderful conversation to have today about compassion and what it means to be compassionate, what compassion is, what it isn't. And I was doing a bit of research, have a look at what are some things that people are sharing, what are some things people want to know about it. And a huge topic seems to be, well, what is compassion and what is not compassion? Because I think that can sometimes be confused between, self-sacrifice or empathy, or what is compassion to you, SB?
I can do what compassion is to me, and in so many ways what it's not.
Yeah.
Because I think it's misrepresented. A lot of time people say, I'm a compassionate person, but there's a lot of surface to it, and we need to have depth. So to me, empathy is feeling able to relate to what someone else is feeling or experiencing.
Yeah.
And compassion is going a step further and wanting to help resolve that or be part of their journey with them and be okay with that and not making it about ourselves.
Yeah.
Whereas where it can get unhealthy is it looks like compassion to someone. What they're really doing is making their feelings that person's feelings, or taking on the person who's hurting's feelings and being upset with them. A lot of coaches say to me, how do you coach someone when they're crying? How do you not cry?
Yeah.
I feel so much compassion. How do you not? Implying somehow I'm lacking compassion because I'm not crying with the client. Well, that's not compassion. That's literally having no boundaries and not respecting the client's experience as their experience, and it is not in any way my experience. And to be effective at the conversation, be it with friends, family, or a client, or on stage, in any scenario, I can't insert myself into their experience. It's their experience to have. So compassion, if we're going to unpack it more, and we'll get to it, it's a really healthy sense that that's their journey. And because I'm strong and resilient and capable and feel I can handle it, I'll be able to reach out and assist them with this. I have enough for them.
Yeah.
Versus, oh my God, that's terrible, I can't believe it. No, that's not. Or, oh my God, I can't believe, none of that's compassion. The drama or buying into it or thinking, there's so many ways I can break that down. The healthiest version is, you say something, the best way I can demonstrate it is a client or someone says to me something that they're hurting around. And I ask them, how's that feeling for you? Tell me about that for you. So that's empathy. I'm seeking to understand. That's part one. I'm seeking to understand your experience. I am literally demonstrating to you empathy. It's not enough to say I'm an empathetic person. I really feel for you. That's not empathy. Empathy is a demonstration. So tell me what that means to you. And you ask with a sense of wonder because you're into knowing and wanting to know and wanting to relate with how they're experiencing that reality for themselves. Then the next stage is compassion. So we might tell me about what that means to you, and then we might reflect it back, which is still an empathy. So you're feeling blah, and it must be so difficult for you to be experiencing, and we've got to say it accurately. We can't say our version of it and say it differently. And then the compassion is there a role I can play in this with you or for you? And it's not offering solutions, it's not solving it, it's not fixing it. It's, I'm here. I really am here. I remember a couple of years ago, a friend of mine went through something and they didn't share it with me. And I said, hey, when I said I was in, I'm all in. And she just
wonderful gift.
Burst into tears, like, oh, you're right, you did. I'm here. You don't have to share, because that would be not respecting her boundary. Maybe she didn't want to share it with me. You don't have to. But now we're here. I'm here. How would you like me to be here? And that's the beginnings of compassion. But without empathy, we can't have compassion.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? So empathy is wanting to know the feelings, perceptions, and thoughts.
Yeah.
Compassion is working out with the person, what do we do with this? Do we do anything, or do we just sit with it?
That person.
Do we just sit with it? Do we champion it? Do we challenge it? It's not up to us. I'm not the expert of the person I'm with.
Yeah.
But before empathy comes I amness, the sense of self.
There's so many layers to
There has to be.
Wonderful.
Because otherwise it's superficial. I feel for you. Or it's a superficial, yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Or it's a superficial, yeah, I know. Or it's a superficial, I know, it's really hard. Or it's happened to me. Or it's narcissistic listening, which is not compassion.
And it becomes about the other person.
So narcissistic listening is you share something and I say, yeah, that happened to me. Or, oh, recently I.
Turn the conversation around.
That's not compassion. And people think that is.
That's such a wonderful distinction, because so many people, that's their version of what it means to express compassion.
Yeah.
They don't have these layers of, bringing the empathy to it, but help keep the conversation about them. And there's a whole wonderful layer of compassion and boundaries that I'd love for you to expand on.
So we're heading there.
Before, come back to, because you were talking about the self-esteem.
Yeah, so there's compassion is the top layer.
I love how we unpack
And
all this.
and then there's empathy to get to compassion. But we've got to earn empathy by being able to be kind to ourselves. To be kind to ourselves is to have a sense of self, a sense of our own I amness, our own enoughness. I can handle it.
Yeah.
You can call it resilience, but it's not really. So resilience is a demonstration of self-esteem.
Yeah.
So the layers are compassion, empathy, resilience, self-esteem. And under self-esteem sits boundaries, needs, and emotionality.
Yeah.
We have healthy boundaries, healthy expression of needs for ourselves, and paying attention to what people around us need as well, and honouring that within what we can do. And then emotionality, emotional intimacy. Can I be vulnerable and comfortable? And this is so important. Compassion requires me to be completely comfortable and friendly with all my emotions. I have to be on a good relationship with all my emotions. Because just do the math. If I'm not comfortable with all my emotions,
You'll shut down whatever.
because whatever you're showing me, if I'm not comfortable with the emotion you're showing, I can't bring you compassion. And I'm not going to ask the right questions to tune into it, because I don't have that healthy relationship with it. So right there, that it's going to be a version of compassion that's going to look a lot like shame. So let's flip it. If we don't have, if we don't have what exactly. So if all of this is a muddle, which it is for a lot of people, then we're going to really struggle with our own resilience. We can talk about in the next podcast. Then to get from resilience, we need to get to empathy, and the empathy to compassion.
Yeah.
If we have not taken care of business in terms of our own emotionality, which I think is the base camp of everything.
Yeah. And I love that model. So we'll make sure that model is in the show notes for everyone. So it's the I Amness Trial model out of the Ultimate You book. It's such a powerful model.
It's important.
Yeah. It's changed my life, and it's
wow,
such
that's
an
awesome.
impact on people's
I've seen
lives.
that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if we're missing our own emotionality, we're going to act compassionate, but it's going to be sensed as acting. And everyone can tell the difference. Everyone can tell.
Yeah.
We can smell it. We can sense it. So an example of it, oh no, but you can almost hear the zoning out.
You can hear it.
Or, oh, you poor thing. It's like, you're already wanting to.
Yeah.
Or just watch how fast they change the subject. So you know you as someone who is capable of all of this if they can dive into your pain and into your shame and into what you're celebrating. So those three are required. So someone who can do compassion can dive into your pain, so what's hurting you, into your shame, that which you wish to hide, and into that which you're celebrating, that which you wish to show. And if at any point they want you to
hide... You've got to repeat those three things, because that was amazing.
So pain, shame, and glory.
Pain, shame, and glory.
Yeah, so
epic.
To be compassionate, you've got to be with me when I feel my pain.
Yeah.
So I'm really hurting, a really crappy thing happened today, and you do your thing.
Yeah.
Shame. I don't know if I really can talk about it. And you can be compassionate, hold the space.
Yeah.
Because people have a lot of shame, and a wonderful way to move through shame is to be someone who can do this well and is in touch with this. And then the glory. Man, something amazing happened. Last week
Yes.
and I'm really proud, and we're all going out to dinner and we're going to brag, which is what we did.
Yes.
And I am going to expect anybody who's at that table want to be into the brag, and they're all going to have their own brag.
Yes.
Because we're here for the glory as well.
Champion and celebrate.
Champion each other, like genuinely. That's compassion. Compassion is you did that fine thing.
Yes.
That is awesome, tell me everything about it.
Yes.
How did it feel? Tell me what it means to you. Like we just do the same thing. What came up for you? How were you in the moment? I'm really curious about and it just 30 questions, and then so let's celebrate.
Yeah.
How do you want to celebrate? I've just done the whole compassion thing, but all of that's got to be there for that to be received or to land with the recipient.
Yeah.
Because anything less than that is going to come off as acting it or thinking this is what they want from me, or I should be, or oh yeah, it's going to be an act, it's going to be a force, and that's going to cause this person who, if you're sharing with me and I'm not genuinely compassionate, you're going to sense it as well. I'm not going to take that to that person again.
Yeah.
Or maybe generalize it. No one wants to hear that shame, or no one wants, a lot of people generalize, no one wants to hear my successes.
Yes.
They just haven't tuned in yet to someone's compassion or to someone who's capable of that level of compassion. Now, is this learnable? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it happen with a soundbite? No. Because all this journey, it's the deeper journey that really reveals the surface truth.
Yeah.
Our capacity of compassion is like the exit on the strategy.
Yes. That's the end.
That's exiting the freeway. The freeway is all of this. Yeah. They're exiting the freeway. By the time they show it with compassion, that's the last piece. All of this needed to take place.
Yeah. And I think the important thing about it is that most of the time people don't know. It's not like they're not showing up with the bad intention of not wanting to be there for someone, or, I think, because I know I've been that person. I want to show compassion, but it comes across as fake, or it comes across as because I wasn't comfortable with my own emotion.
Yep.
And, so many of our members in Ultimate You Quest share that because they are going on that journey through the program, through that 12 weeks. They're doing that.
Yep, getting in touch with their emotionality, getting in touch with their boundaries.
And then how many people we have in the group jumping on to share, how they're there more for their daughter or their teenage son open up to them for the first time, and they now know what it means to hold the space, and it's just such a wonderful growth and journey to see happen for them.
I was speaking with someone today and this came up. Their daughter had been rude to their grandmother. And my friend, who will be listening to this podcast, so I'm not going to... Hello.
Hi,
had shared how there was a lesson in it for her kid to learn, which is true. And the bit we spoke about, the bit that was missing, was the compassion bit. Well, hang on, you turned up with the lesson, which is wanting to change behaviour, which is don't be rude to Nonna, which is fair. But what about the bit before? What about seeing the child who was clearly hurting and express themselves the way they felt was available to them at the time? What can we do there? So that's just a simple example when we're parents. And I know a lot of people in Quest really relate to this. It's, well, how can I show up early and not just react, bring my own reaction to a yucky event? How can I show up and just go back through and recreate, help this person experience their boundaries, their needs, and their emotionality? So the way I would look at it in this case is, well, what were the emotions? Find out. What were the needs? What is it this person needed in that time? And ask them, what did you need then? What needed to have happened for you to have felt loved and included and safe, and to feel that compassion was present to you? And then boundaries. Do you feel that you were supporting your boundaries when you said that thing? Or did you feel your boundaries were not being supported when you said that thing? So it literally gives you a roadmap for how to have the conversation.
How to do it and how to actually bring compassion to life.
Yes. And then you do the next step. You get into resilience. Next time, given we now know this, what are some of the choices available to you? Because resilience is believing there's choice in the face of hopelessness. That is resilience.
I love that.
I can cope when it looks like I can't. That's it.
I feel like we need a whole episode
on resilience.
To unpack resilience.
Resilience is my favourite. I just love it. So let's talk about, we're not really talking about resilience, but we'd say to this person, so given all of this, and we know this now, what is it we can show up a little differently? Knowing what we now know and knowing they don't know it, how can we show up a little differently next time? Or maybe you being as you were last time is what's really available to you, and you'll be compassionate with yourself as you make that choice again, because self-compassion's a big part of it. What's available to you now? Chat, great. And then empathy and compassion becomes self-evident. Because the unpack was done at the genesis level, the DNA level, not the result,
Yeah.
the end, the exit on the freeway. We're building the freeway.
This is brilliant.
Thank you.
This gives people so much. I feel like I trust you do. If it is, it gives so much clarity around the steps to take to demonstrate compassion.
It has to be taught. And you can't teach compassion if the person doesn't know themselves healthily. So we'll do a podcast hopefully on self-compassion and compassion for others. This is just the building blocks or the structure of compassion. This is what it looks like. This is it. It has all these steps. It has emotionality, boundaries and needs, then resilience, then empathy, then compassion. Don't worry about the compassion you're not showing. Take care of down here. That becomes available to you the better your relationship you have with your emotions. That becomes more available to you the more you understand your needs and can tune into the needs of others. Compassion becomes available to you the more you respect your boundaries and understand. The more I can understand you are you and I am me, and where I end does not continue into you, and you can do the same for me. That's healthy boundaries. It's knowing that's me, that's you, we're not the same. That's healthy boundaries. A lot of people don't know that. If I feel bad, you should feel bad, or if I'm angry, why aren't you angry? Then once we've explored, and we can explore all of that openly, vulnerably, intimately, and without self-consciousness. So you've got to be able to dance openly and curiously and warmthly and playfully and all the infeliz ways that you could. When that's available, then resilience becomes more available to us. And we'll do a podcast on resilience. But resilience is, I can handle it. Really, it's because I can trust me. And this is the building blocks of trust. I can trust me. Now, because I can trust me, I have space for you. So picture a funnel. You turn the tap on just a little bit, and it'll gurgle only up to emotionality. Turn the tap on a little bit more, needs. Turn on a little bit more, boundaries. Turn on a little bit more, resilience. You turn it on a lot more, I have enough flow over for you. And now I can tune into you because I believe I'm taken care of right now. Right now, me tuning to you is not costing me. Me tuning into you is not taking away from me. Me tuning into you is not making me feel shame. Me tuning into you is not making me uncomfortable with my emotions. It's just tuning into you. And then empathy and compassion becomes available. That's the model I coach from.
That's amazing.
So I don't coach people on compassion, I coach them on self-esteem. Because
there's so many layers underneath that before.
Because otherwise they're faking it, they're just learning compassion lines. That's awful. That'd be horrible just to use a compassionate line because I learned to lie. It's like, man, bring me your heart, bring me the truth. I was with the same friend today and we did an amazing thing. We got talking about, I can't remember what it was something like this. And I said, I think my desire to get to the genesis of it needs to be a core value. And we came up with the value of truth. So I'm going to redo my values today because of this. So my values are health and fitness, or health and vitality, love, wisdom, compassion, playfulness. I'm adding truth just below wisdom. Because truth speaking seems to be really core to my experience of me and how I experience relationships. And the healthier I have a relationship with the truth, the healthier I expect my relationships to be. So I'm adding it as a value. So it's another way to go.
That's wonderful.
If you want compassion, have truth as a value. Because compassion doesn't have bullshit. Compassion isn't faking it. Compassion is the truth. And so compassion isn't being nice and protecting people. It's not that. It's, I can be with you, beside you, in this experience, however it is. Not how I need it to be, not how I prefer it to be, not how I think you should have it to be.
Not what society thinks it needs to be, what's appropriate and inappropriate.
It is. Now that level of witnessing is very freeing for the receiver. And it's a gift. It really is. And it could be for the glory, and it could be for the shame, and it could be for the pain. It doesn't really matter. If you're comfortable with all this, you swim with all of this, bring me any of it. It's going to be just, all of you is delightful, and that's true self-compassion. When you get to the stage like, whatever you bring, I'm going to be okay. I really will. And so I think that's a gift to give people when we're coaching or in our relationships.
And I think that's part of what makes our coaches so incredible at what they do, because you teach this message to them through meta, through ultimate you, through through meta dynamics and ultimate you, and through the models that they're able to show up to the for their clients in a whole different way.
Yeah, it's only been the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Before that, it was really just coaching.
Yeah.
It was coaching.
Yeah.
To add all of this compassion elements and these layers of
beautiful.
How can we see ourselves more accurately and truthfully? So not the bits we just want to see, not the bits we're comfortable with. We'll do a podcast on self-compassion because just to preview it, self-compassion really is I can see myself truthfully and I'm still okay.
Yeah.
Whereas not self-compassion is I can't handle that part of me, so I'm just going to shut it down, which means none of this becomes available.
Yeah.
The whole journey ends.
And then that's what's missing. That's what people talk about when they feel like they're looking for something or it's not enough or they're not feeling fulfilled.
Yep.
What an epic strategy. Thank you so much for sharing.
That was fun. Great questions.
That was phenomenal. I trust that strategy and the steps are really useful for you. I'd love for you to share and comment below maybe how you're applying it, maybe a conversation that you've had or a moment where you've been able to maybe apply some of these steps and did you show up with a bit more compassion in that moment?
And we'll put the model on the notes, show notes. So they can download. You can download.
There's a link there for you to download it. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
for
Glenn.
sharing
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I trust you got value from this podcast. We had so much fun and delighted in bringing it to you and for your loved ones. If you haven't yet, your subscription would be absolutely fantastic. Your subscription and your feedback means that we get to rate higher. If we get to rank higher, more people get to hear this message. You can also help out if you'd love to. Once you subscribe, by sharing this podcast with someone who you believe this message may resonate with and create a discussion around it. Just enjoy it and interact with it however you choose, but most importantly, we'd love your subscription. See you at the next episode.